Dear students, in our previous class we discussed about marks of good memory, span of memory and memory trust. Today I am going to discuss with you another important and interesting topic that is can memory be improved? Okay, can memory be improved or improvement of memory? So it is a very interesting topic because we all want to improve our memory capacity, isn't it? We all want to know is memory can be improved or improvement of memory, and we all want to improve our memory capacity. But there is a controversy whether memory can be improved by practice or not. Between among different psychologists, there is always a controversy whether memory can be improved by practice or not. According to William McDougall, memory can be improved by practice. So McDougall said that memory can be improved through practice. He said that memory power can be improved by an individual with the help of his education and training. So McDougall said that memory can be improved through regular practice or through regular repetition. And he had expressed his view on the basis of the result of his memory experiment. So he ran a memory experiment, can memory be improved, and he on the basis of his experiment he said that memory can be improved through practice. But on the other hand, William James expressed that retentiveness is a physiological ability and hence unchangeable. So another psychologist William James, he said that memory capacity, that means the retentiveness capacity is a physiological capacity. That means retentiveness is always depend upon heredity. It is a physiological capacity, that is physical capacity, and it is always depend upon heredity, and hereditary capacity cannot be changeable. Okay, so he said that it is a physiological ability and hence unchangeable, and it is innate and mostly depends upon heredity. And thus practice may improve the power of learning but not the power of retaining. So retention is the most important element of memory process, and according to William James, through practice we may learn about the learning material, but we cannot improve the power of retention. So according to William James, we cannot develop our retention capacity through practice, but through practice we can learn the learning material effectively. The next, G.F. Stout, a famous psychologist, had maintained a slight different view regarding improvement of memory. So in another psychologist, Stout said that there is no improvement of general memory ability through practice. So Stout said that general memory ability means the capacity to memorize everything. Okay, so there is no improvement of general memory ability through practice, and he said that memory can be improved but only in a spatial direction. So there is no improvement of general memory ability. Memory can be improved only in a spatial direction. That means spatial memory can be improved by practice, but general memory power remains unchanged. So spatial direction, it means we all see that an actor always remember his dialogue, isn't it? That means it is a spatial memory. He is a profession in the acting profession, so he have to remember his dialogue. So memory can be improved like this in spatial direction. And then we can say that a peon always remember all the addresses of his village or of his town. That means this is a spatial direction. So according to G.F. Stout, memory can be improved in a spatial direction, but general mental ability cannot be improved. So we know that memory according to the different psychologists, there is always a controversy, but we know that memory capacity cannot be improved, but through practice we can improve our learning capacity. But in a special direction, we also can improve our retentiveness capacity. But in all direction, we never improve our retentiveness capacity or retention capacity. But in a special direction, for a limited period of time, we can retain some learning material. So this is that memory can be improved or improvement of memory. We cannot directly say that memory can be improved or memory cannot be improved, because it is always a controversial topic. Now our next topic is economic method of memorization, or how can memory be improved. Okay, economic methods of memorization and how can memory be improved. So there is always some techniques and devices through which we can improve our memory capacity. Here we see the techniques of improvement of memory capacity. So first technique or devices is interest for learning. Here interest is an essential contributory factor of memory. It is an important and primary condition for learning and memorization. So without interest we cannot learn anything and we cannot memorize anything. So interest for learning is an important element for memorization process. The next one is motive. Motive is an important condition of memorization. It gives incentives to learning and memorization. It also facilitates learning and enhance memory. So if there is always a motive to our learning process, then it is an important element for this memorization process, because motive always gives incentives to learning. The next one is, it is a most important point, that is willpower. Okay. So according to psychologists, willpower may remove all the weakness in learning that stand in the way to remember. So if we have the willpower to learn something, then it always removes all the weaknesses, all the barriers in the process of our learning. And will to learn and concentration gives longer retention and better recall. So it is it always gives a longer retention. If we have to willpower to learn something, then that learning material can remain in our mind for a long period of time. The next one is repetition. So we already know that repetition is an essential part of memorization. Then repetition and continuous practice strengthen the bond between learning and retention, and it keeps impression for a long time. So repetition always keeps the learning material in our mind for a long period of time. The next one is logical learning. Logical learning means whatever is learned may be retained in mind through the understanding and appreciation of it. So through the understanding and appreciation of it, it means if we learn something by analyze that learning material, then it always remain in our mind for a long period of time. Then the recitation. Recitation means the mental repetition of something. It is an active way of studying which makes the subject firmer than if we read over and over again. So recitation, through the recitation process, if we try to remember something and if we try to retain something in our mind, then it is an easy process to remember or retain something in our mind. Recitation is an easy process to retain something in our mind, then read over and over again. The next is part and whole method. So there is two method to remember something, that is part method and whole method. To study something by part method is also divided into two parts before studying it. So part method means if we try to remember something like that, some poem, then if we have to part by part remember that poem. Then On the other hand, a subject is read according to the whole method when it is read from start to finish as a whole. So according to the necessity and suitability of occasion, part and whole method should be used. So we can use the two methods to remember something, part method and whole method. If we try to remember a poem, then we can use the part method, and if we try to remember a long question, that like a historical question, then we can use the whole method. The next one is spaced learning. Spaced learning is one in which there are time interval in the memorization and the subject is connected to the memory after various setting. So spaced learning, that means we give some space in the learning process. That means we never try to remember something continuously repeated it. Okay, continuously repeating something, we never try to, or we never try to remember it. In the learning process, we always give some space. Okay, we have to always give some space in the learning process. That means rest. The next one is active method or learning by doing. Active method or learning by doing involves the exercise of body organs and the nerves that makes the learning image or impression active and alive in mind for a longer period of time. So active method, that means learning by doing method. If we try to remember something, then we have to remember that particular learning material by doing something. That means if we try to remember some answer, then we have to verbal memorization along with the verbal memorization, and also we have to write the answer of that particular question. That means active method. The next one is use of images. And retention of learning experiences or impression in mind may be longer use of images. Images means use of pictures. It is basically used in the pre-primary level or primary level students. If we try to learn them A, B, C, D, F for apple, B for ball, C for cat, then we have to put a image of apple, ball, cat in front of the student. Then they can all remember that particular A for apple is immediately. The next one is use of sense organs. So here use of sense organs at the time of teaching by the teacher in the classroom is necessary for the vividness of learning. The experience acquired through sense organs are retained in mind for a long period of time. That means use of sense organs, we have to try to use most of our sense organs in the learning process. Among the 5 sense organs, basically we use the eye, isn't it? But in the learning process, we have to use try to use that most of our sense organs. Then association. Association as a factor which keeps memorization is no less important than the other. Association is the most important point, because association is very helpful in remembering and recall. So if we try to remember something by associate that learning material with another another learning material, then it is easy for us to remember that learning material. Then normal overlearning. Normal but overlearning is an important condition for better memorization. Normal overlearning means we have to learn something, or we have to try to memorize something by overlearning, but not the overlearning, the normal overlearning. That means we have like spaced learning. It means we have to remember, or we have to repeat some learning material through normal overlearning. That means we give a space between our repetition process. Thus, meaningfulness of the material. For effective learning or longer retention, meaningfulness of material is important, because we always easily remember all the meaningfulness material. Meaningless material is not retained in our mind easily. Then rest means space learning or normal over learning. Rest is always an essential psychophysical condition of learning and remembering. Then review, time to time review of the subject matter can help in strengthening retention. That means repetition process. Then emotional condition, stable and peaceful emotional condition helps in memorization. So if we try to learn something, then our emotional condition always be healthy. The next is physical condition. As a good physical condition is always required for memorization process, and good mental health is always required for a learning process. Then environmental condition also be good. Then grouping in learning. Grouping in learning is also an important condition for learning and memorization. Then next is group classification method. If the subject matter are remembered by using classification method, that it can be remembered easily. If you classify the learning material, then it can be easily retained in our mind. Then the last one is use of proverb. Proverb is always easily retained in our mind. So these are the 24 techniques that we use in the improvement of memory process. For the improvement of our memory process, we can use these 24 techniques. And basically the most important point is interest for learning. We always have the interest for learning. Then motive, willpower, repetition, part and whole method, space learning, and active method or learning by doing, and the use of images. These are the most important points. And another points are also important, but these are the most important points for improvement of memory. Okay, so today we learn about can memory be improved and the techniques of improvement of memory. Okay, so today we completed memory process or about the topic of memory, and now I am going to give you a homework for today. The homework is write 2 important techniques for better memorization of children. You have to write 2 techniques among all these 24 techniques, and always remember that you have to give the headline and then elaborate that point. Okay, so write 2 important techniques for better memorization of children. And if you have any problem, then you can send me a message in my personal WhatsApp regarding the memory topic. Okay, thank you.